Hello, peoples. Plasma's Prime again. Oh, I'm here to talk about something which it's a bit of a. I'm here to talk about something that I find amusing, especially in this day and age. Because of the fact that the post Harry Potter. I mean, what a lot of people don't take into account is that what a lot of people don't remember nowadays. Even those of us who have been, even those of us who are around in the remember the pre Harry Potter days when when installments of a given series were counted separately. Um, Before, as I think it was like when was it? I think it was just a discussion this with a friend of mine. I think that it was around when was it? I want to say it was around 2001. I think was when the New York Times said, "Okay, all four Harry Potter books to date are dominating the market. We're just going to count the series. We're going to count sales for a given series at all collectively. We're not going to count each installment separately." So yeah. So like I said, which is why yeah. So, and I recently discovered that Red Sparrow was a book first, but yeah, and I got the second one. And as you can see, I'm reading it. Um, that's what I was talking about. Is that it says that it's the best-selling Red Sparrow trilogy. Um, yeah. Now, even 20 years ago, that would not have been. It would have just been like so the sequel to the New York Times best-selling novel, Red Sparrow. But that's a detail. I just happen to have that on hand. That's all. I'm not talking about that. But yeah, what a lot of people tend to not. Well, you did have series back in the day. I mean, which I'm not saying that you did have series. I mean, like clearly because Harry Potter was not the first one to do that. You had the even for kids, you had Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys. Goosebumps was the primary go-to in a lot of ways for most people in my age group, anyway. Also Animorphs, but that was the thing about Animorphs was that its target demographic was a bit older than it was when it was first starting out. I actually grew into the target demographic for that one. Um, Now that's something that the TV adaptation was made way too early. They should have waited at least another 5 or 6 years before even trying that. Yeah. Um, and for those of you who haven't seen it lately, it's not. It was it. Netflix had the rights when I last checked. I don't know, but I'm assuming they still do. I honestly don't know. I haven't looked at it lately. Knowing Nickelodeon, they probably put it on Amazon or Hulu by now. That's where most of their stuff has ended up. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So the puppet they used for the Andalites has not aged well at all. And if memory serves, people did not like it even back then, and not even back in '98 when it was first airing. um, yeah. But still, like I said, the thing is for you kids out there who will be watching this, I'm sure, eventually. The thing is, Harry Potter was such a game changer um, that it literally changed how long form literature, how do I put this? It literally changed how some whole sections of literature are, and it completely changed how literature is counted because we still have standalone stuff, obviously, but that's not the norm anymore. I mean, it's gotten to the point where It's gotten to the point where there's actually writing guides specifically tailored towards people who are trying to write a series um, instead of just an individual installment. And I know I will admit I am planning on doing that myself. I said my one of my so I'm just doing this. I do plan on um, breaking into the literary scene at some point. Um, so oh, that's gonna be, and it's one of those things where it's funny because I'm trying to work with a former coworker of mine with this. We managed to maintain contact with each other. And one of the things we regret is not getting any contact information for several other people we work with at the same time because we had a lot of ideas and right now we're trying to do we have an idea for a shared universe. I'm not going to go into any detail on it because it is in the early planning stages. But it's still, like I said, we're planning on doing something along those lines. We do know it's going to be primarily a sci-fi setting at this point. That's what we decided. But there's a lot that is yet to be decided upon. Yes. And also, yeah, they finally, and yes, yeah, you finally have the announcement for Spyro the Reignited trilogy is what they're calling it. They finally have it's coming out in September 21st. Yeah. Sorry, I had to think for a second there. Um, yeah, September 21st is when it's coming out, and that's gonna be fun. Um, be able to play that in ultra high definition, at least in my case. um, yeah, scaling up stuff is fun. But anyway, I have an entire video to remastering and remaking stuff. Let's see, I'm trying to think here. But yeah, yes, what was it? Oh yes. Yeah, I mean the thing is, Harry Potter. I mean, I don't know. Is the thing about it is Harry Potter changed a lot. It changed how books are. It changed how sales of books that it changed how sales information is tracked for reading material in a lot of ways. It changed. I mean, it clearly got a whole generation of kids back. It essentially got Generation Y was essentially, and it got them and it got us into reading and and I can tell you, I mean, the advent of digital cable did if, the advent of premium cable. Yeah, that's what I want to go with. Um, because like I said, my parents, I said my mom has this, and really this, with my parents, because they happen to, was my parents were born in '58, in December of '58, and February of '61, so they managed to. So yeah, so they were the tail end of the last age group that did not grow up with did not really grow up with cable TV being the norm, or at least being widespread. Because and and I will say this because my family we got rid of the TV from we did not have traditional TV from July of 2001 through when was it? Through I have to think here for a second. Yeah, through yes, through mid August, mid to late August. The Olympics were still going on, but I can't remember exactly when it was. Through mid August of 2012, So just over 11-year stretch without TV. Although we did, and the only real reason that we did that is because was because, and ironically enough, we were living in Charlotte, North Carolina at the time. So so if you know, so when you just how's this for irony? Um, NASCAR, always like I say, we're for the most part, so we all have a soft spot for NASCAR in our not in household, and or we did at the time anyway. So the ladies, so my mom and sister have since now this is more due to people retiring, and in my sister's case, she was in Oregon for just under 3 years, and she did not really have, and she didn't have access to a TV on a regular basis for the vast majority of that time. So she just got out of it. Um, but yeah, so we were NASCAR fans. And it was mostly my maternal grandfather's fault for that one. Oh boy. Yes. Um, yeah. So it was my maternal grandfather's fault. But anyway, so what we would do, so we didn't have TV, and which was a factor in the whole not having a video game console until 2012. um, in the house, having a dedicated home video game console, video console, game console in the house until 2012. Although I'm sure that, although it's pretty straightforward that had we gotten a PS1 back in the day, we probably would have gotten rid of it anyway. But that's a detail. But yeah, I mean, reading is important. But when you think about it, even in this day and age where the tendency for, especially for kids, to read a lot has sadly waned again. And now, admittedly, there was a resurgence when, so to speak, when the Hunger Games, the hype machine for that one started cranking out, and also Divergent to an extent. That did bring some momentum back, but it seems to have since tapered off for the last year and a half or so. But yeah, I mean, it's gotten to the point where I actually where where I mean, e-readers are fun and all, but for some, and I have one. I mean, I have a Nook HD, and my mom has. But sometimes you just really want to have a hard copy of something, especially if it's something that you're not sure you're going to want to keep around indefinitely. And everyone's had that experience where you have something where you think you're going to want to keep something forever, and you have to take into account, and you just take into account that your interests are going to change anyway. Um, so yeah, I mean that's why I tend to that's why I tend to at least on occasion still buy hard copies of stuff. Um, because because it's not exactly as I'm not saying that digital age is a bad thing inherently, but it is but but it can be but it's but sometimes you just really want to get rid of stuff, and that's a big factor. Um, there's also the fact that sometimes rights issues can pull stuff off of streaming services. I mean, like with with Disney gearing up to launch their in-house streaming service next year. So they've already announced they're going to be pulling Phineas and Ferb off of Netflix. They're going to be yanking a bunch of stuff off of Hulu as well, and presumably Amazon. Um, so whether that means they'll bring back a lot of other stuff is yet to be seen at this point. I'm assuming they will, but there's no guarantee, is there? Really? Um, yeah. So there's that. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Reading is important, and yeah, I mean, the thing is, you got to remember that Harry. It's been over 20 years now since Pottermania really started gripping the world, and a lot of and it doesn't sound like much, but 20 years is a lot longer than most people would care to admit. Yeah, sorry, I have a little twist in my neck there. Um, yeah. Oh, the wonderful world of retail. um, yeah, gonna do a lot of stuff, a lot of moving around, and a lot of heavy lifting, all that fun jumping stuff. Still certified to use cart, and still not certified to use forklift, but that's more due to time constraints on the part of my superiors than anything. It's not anything I'm doing wrong, not directly anyway. Let's see, yeah. So yeah, like I said, so yeah, reading is important, kids. Um, and like I said, I'm planning on doing a lot of writing myself. So the current plan is to have a completed manuscript by the end of the 2019 calendar year, but we'll see. So it's like that old, it's like the saying goes, life is what happens life is what gets in your way when you're busy making other plans. Um, Although I will say this, Red Sparrow, great book. I didn't get a chance to see the movie in first run cinemas, and it is yet to be screening at the local Dollar Theater here in the Memphis area. And this is the second one. I don't know if I'm going. I did read this. I didn't get this one right away. Actually, I got it before I finished the first one. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to read the Kremlin's candidate next or not. I don't know. Because I guess one thing that one thing that helps me enjoy stuff, especially with reading in particular, is being able to share it with others. And sadly at this point anyway, my sister is reading is well trying to. She is a bit of like I said about the whole life is what gets in the way of when you're busy making it. Life is what happens when life is what happens when stuff gets in the way of making other plans. Yeah, because I got her Ready Player One as a gift, and now I thought she was going. She had some other stuff she was reading at the time, but I thought she would at least. I got it for her back in February, and I was thinking that okay, she's probably going to read the movie's coming out in April. She's probably going to the movie's coming out the last week of March. She should be able to. Is it knowing her? She should be able to knock this one out of the park less than um in less than 3 weeks. At even in the worst case scenario. Now, admittedly, I did not realize because she was listening to this audio book that she got from Amazon. I think it was from Amazon or something. I don't know. And it's part of a rather large. It's part of a it's part of a series that currently has I think 10 installments, and the 11th one is well on the way. um, and I think she was listening to the I want to say the fifth one at that time, and she said she just wanted to not get this out of the way first. And she's going back to school for to get certified as a pharmacy technician, and her clinicals started less than 2 weeks after I got her the book and natural and like I said I had no way of knowing that at the time. I mean, when I made the purchase, I did not. She did not know when it was going to happen. I didn't. I so naturally I did not know. Um, yeah, so I had no way of knowing when she was going to do that. So I had no way of knowing that her time would that her commitments would skyrocket. Her free time would be torpedoed in short order. But that's not important now. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, like I said, reading is important. It's always been important, and in this day and age, I really think it's even more important than it's ever been because and and not just fiction either. I mean, like biographies are fun too. Well, some of them can be anyway. So yeah, yeah, biographies and history are also interesting. But yeah, but I think it was Isaac Asimov who said that. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the actual quote. Said that science fiction was one of the most important genres humanity has ever come across because that it was that that it is crucial to humanity's survival or some such. I forget the details. It's been at least a couple of years since I looked it up. Yeah. So yes, so like I said, reading is important. Um, and that's pretty much it for now. That's all I think. Yeah, that's why I want to discuss that. Like I said, reading is important. So go out there and read. Don't just read. Don't. That's what they need to have. Is Nickelodeon has that get up and play. There needs to be like a day. I mean, it can even be like like Dr. Seuss's birthday has been designated as national as international. Just go out and read day. I think that Nickelodeon and Disney Channel and Cartoon Network and all the other things they should actually do the same thing that they do where Nickelodeon has that every year they do the annual. They've done this for I think it's for the last 4 years now. They've done a annual day of play where on a Saturday that they choose. I think it's usually in August, where they say that just where they just have a where they do not where they have an entire like a 3 or 4 hour block where they don't air any shows. They just have a little title card that says "Get out and play with your family." I was thinking, why don't they? Now, there's a slight problem with that is they did not coordinate with their direct competition, and there's also Netflix now, um, where and there's also Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon and the like, along with I'm sure that every household has a rather substantial DVD and Blu-ray library at their disposal, so it doesn't really mean as much. There's also video games and all that junk and stuff. But yeah, I really think that there needs to be like a day where you set it where I think that it could be like the international readout or whatever the hell it is. Um, where I think there needs to be a day. I mean, like every year, you should. It could be Dr. Seuss's birthday. It could be some other author's birthday. It could be, or something. It doesn't matter. But there really should be a day of where you set aside at least a like 4 or 5 hour stretch where everyone is reading around the world. Um, and I'm not saying it should be the same time. That should be the same for a 5 hour stretch. I'm saying that you can count and take into account time zones and everything. But but yeah, like I said, what I think. I said reading's important. I love to read. I always have. um, yeah, yeah. Even back in the '90s, when we had TV the first time, that was um, yeah. I was still a big reader, and yeah. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. So signing off here. Bye.